So malaria isn't, so these are the health implications of malaria. Now let's go to the socioeconomic, because for some people that's what makes sense. 10%, 1 out of every hospital visit in Africa is from malaria. Okay? Just about 60%, so more than half of all absenteeism from work or from school is from malaria. All right? So if kids are missing school, what happens to their learning? It affects their learning. It affects their cognitive development and their ability to achieve their fullest potential because they're missing learning opportunities. What happens for an adult? Work-related opportunities are lost, all right, because you're ill. The amount of money, the economic burden on the individual, the money they spend on treating malaria, the money they spend in traveling to where they can get treatment for malaria, the money that is lost income from malaria, the money that is spent in deaths from malaria, in preparing for a funeral from malaria, and then the lost income from premature death due to malaria. So
this is also bleak.
It is also, you know what, but that's, you asked me that. We need to know these things about malaria because we take it for granted.
We do. So we need to be educated.
We do.
We need to do something about malaria.
Who will do the education?
Well, that's what somebody like me, that's what I do. That's what the Health Zone is all about, is educating people about simple stuff like malaria.
You were talking earlier about the role of government at all levels. Now, we talked about the individuals and the mindset you had about environmental impact and all. But let's go back to the role of the government. Especially since the World Health, the target of the World Health Assembly is 90% eradication by 2030. This is 2016, 14 years away. I know that's achievable, but what should government be doing? At all levels? At all levels.
I think government, well, first, I think a place to start would be providing universal health care to all its citizens. I think that's a good place to start. So government should be able to do that.
That's a tall order.
It is a tall order.
Yeah.
Secondly, government needs to make sure that there is accessibility, point of care accessibility for every single one of their citizens, which means if you go to a health center in Abraka, Delta State, or you go to a health center in Alausa, in Ikeja here, that the quality is consistent across the board. The supplies are there. If you come in and say you have a fever, you should be able to get a finger stick rapid diagnostic test on the spot. That'll tell you whether or not you have malaria. If it is positive, you should have immediate access to ACT, which is the artemisinin combination therapy. So equitable access to healthcare for all its citizens.
Low-hanging fruit.
Yes. So then another key thing is public health education. Public health education, truthfully, is an inexpensive but very powerful, it has huge gains. Because if you know that by keeping your environment uncluttered and clear, yes, you may not be able to do anything about the stagnant gutter in front of your house, but if you do something about your area, if you have the mosquito netting in your window, if you make sure everybody in your household is sleeping under a mosquito, let me just back up, 3 things that work across the board, extensively studied in malaria prevention. Mosquito net use, especially for children and pregnant women, all right? The indoor residual spraying that I talked about, it works. And then lastly, intermittent treatment of pregnant women. So in their 4th, 5th, and 6th month, they're just treated prophylactically. They don't have malaria, but they're treated in 4th, 5th, and 6th months of pregnancy to just prevent them getting malaria. Those are the 3 things that have been shown to work without fail in malaria prevention. So messaging, public health education around those simple 3 things.
Talking about public health, I remember in Lagos, growing up in Lagos, we used to have what they called wole wole.
Yes,
And
the health inspectors.
Health inspectors who would
That's
come
right.
around and make sure that you didn't have any tires lying around with
Yes,
water
yes.
where mosquitoes could breed, and that your environment was clean. But all that is gone. And I'm wondering about high density areas. Who tells them what to do?
Well, right now, nobody really tells them what to do in a consistent way. And I think that's one of the problems in a lot of sub-Saharan Africa, which is that for many years, our focus was curative medicine, okay? You have a problem, you come to the hospital. We need to be focused on preventive medicine. The first world, for want of a better expression, has come to understand that preventive medicine is the way to go. And we have a unique opportunity to spend our health naira, our health dollars, on preventive medicine, because we're close to 180 million people in Nigeria. We cannot do curative medicine for everybody. So we're best served to focus on making sure that we prevent illness and that we educate people so that they understand what disease is, what the danger signs are, and when to seek health.
Let's talk about educating people here.
Yes.
You know, not going beyond malaria
Yes.
to other health issues.
Yes.
What should Nigerians and those watching us be thinking about when they want to talk, when they want to think health? I mean, a lot of Nigerians now talk eat healthy, exercise, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Well, at least I am happy that many more Nigerians are exercising.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's talk about health.
Okay. The thing that we need to understand in Nigeria is that for many years, our main problems were infectious diseases, what we call communicable diseases. But in the last 20 to 30 years, as we've become more economically
Vibrant.
economic development has progressed in a significant way,
And has brought its
brought its own attendant issues with the Pizza Huts and the fast food chains. All right, and so Nigerians are eating a lot of fast food. So we now have non-communicable disease. So we have a double whammy. We're still dealing with communicable diseases, but now we have to focus on non-communicable diseases. So those things you said, that is the message Nigerians should get. Take care of yourself. Eat well, sleep well, find healthy avenues to de-stress, and exercise. Those are the most important things you can do for your health.
Please, does eat well mean quantity or quality?
It means both.
Okay. I had to whisper that.
Yes, eat well means quantity and quality. Okay? So there's got to be portion control. You have to, you can't just eat 2 plates and get refills. Okay? But then what you put, it's true, but then what you put on your plate has to be high quality food. If you're going to eat a protein, it should be a high quality protein. So it shouldn't be fried pomo. That is a very low quality protein. All right? It should be something like maybe fish or chicken without skin, or goat meat, which is leaner than beef. You understand what I mean? Or the protein.
Why do you use specifically fried? But is it better to boil?
Well, yeah, it's better to
steam?
cook because you're adding additional calories in the fat that you fry the protein in. So high quality protein. Same thing when you're dealing with carbohydrates. High quality carbohydrates. So don't eat the white bread and eat a whole loaf of bread for breakfast. Eat a slice of whole wheat bread. Or better still, for breakfast, you're better off eating a small bit of moi moi, which is steamed beans, which is high in protein as well as has some carbs, but good carbs. So it gives you fiber, it gives you all the good things that you don't get from the white bread or from the white rice.
Okay.
So that's what I mean by eat.
Okay.
Thank you.
And we have to go now, have we?
Yeah, we have to go.
And malaria.
And malaria,
for good.
Finally, for good.
Okay.
So,
can I just say what the audience should go away with
malaria?
This
is your last word.
Yes.
Yes.
Use bed nets. They work. especially for children and pregnant women. If your child is sick with malaria, has a high fever, seek medical care within the first 24 hours. Test before you treat. Every fever is not malaria. I'll say that again. Every fever is not malaria. There are simple, reliable, effective tests. If it's positive, then you treat for malaria. If it's negative, you ask the doctor to find out what else you could have, because many diseases have similar symptoms to malaria.
Thank you very much. Dr. Toju Chikeobi, Clinical Director and host of The Health Zone. Thank you for speaking with us about malaria.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me on your show.
Sunrise will be back for the home stretch. Don't go away.